Clare, I suppose it's great to have live sport back. The Bundesliga, I think, the first of the European leagues to come back in the men's game. But you've been back a bit with Duisburg, and you're in a bit of a battle at the moment, and you've got some big games coming up.
Yeah, it's great to be back playing matches competitively, and so far in the space of the last 8 days, we've played 3 games, and they've gone for and against us. And I suppose we kind of have to rest and recover now to get ready for the next big few games that we have. So we've 4 left, and we'll be looking to play 3 games in 9 days now, I think it is. So yeah, they're going to be big, and we have a few on the road as well. So that'll just kind of add to the difficulty levels of it, not having that home advantage, because thankfully since we've returned, due to health and safety reasons, we have changed where we play our games. So we actually play our games now in the men's stadium. So there's a big capacity and a nice fine pitch to be able to try and get the ball down and play football. So yeah, it's really nice, and it's something that has stood to us, and hopefully in the next home game that we have, that will be the same kind of a situation for us.
Yeah, and I suppose if you look at the table, 9th, 10th and 11th are occupied by Bayer Leverkusen, yourselves and Cologne, and there's only 2 points from separating 9th and 11th, with Cologne having to play Jena at the bottom side, only have 2 points, so you'd imagine they will leapfrog them, move on to 14, so you're looking at 14, 13, 13 goal difference. It's as tight as it gets when 2-3 sides are vying to avoid that last dreaded drop spot.
That's it, exactly. It could very well come down to the fine margins of who stays up and who goes down. But I suppose we'll kind of be hoping that we're on the right side of things, that we'll be able to secure First League Bundesliga for next season.
Yeah,
but
and
again,
I suppose even if you look at yourselves there, I think your goal difference minus 23, Leverkusen's minus 22, and Cologne's minus 29. Even if you were to finish level on points with Cologne, that negative goal difference that they have is nearly like an extra point for yourselves. So it really, really is very, very, very tight. Tell us a little bit about, we saw, I suppose, the GA here over the weekend coming back in with protocols with regards to returning to training and to playing. What protocols have the Bundesliga implemented over there? Individual water bottles, changing facilities. How has post-COVID match day experience for a player differed from what it would have in the last season or prior to COVID-19?
Well, I suppose, because of the social distancing rules, and over here masks are a big thing, so we have to wear our masks nearly all the time, arriving to a venue, going out onto the pitch, to and from the changing rooms, so that's obviously a little bit different. And the hand sanitizers are always there to be used as well. With the terms of the social distancing, we have to implement that at our training center as well, so we have to be spread out between 3-4 changing rooms. And obviously at the men's stadium, it's a really big dressing room, so there isn't any fear there for us. But I suppose the protocols for actually returning to play, it was quite similar, just starting off with individual training sessions, like small groups, and eventually they were able to increase the numbers of the small groups, going from maybe 2 to 4 or 4 to 5. And then obviously with the announcement of return to Bundesliga, team training had to be possible for teams to return to. So COVID-19 tests are being done regularly over here, maybe 2 to 3 times a week. So then we had to do 2 tests before we could start our team training, and it kind of went from there then.
And I suppose so much of this as well is common sense, isn't it? It's basic hygiene that we might have kind of scoffed at or skipped over in the past, but is now just really, really important. And stuff like sneezing, coughing etiquette, that sort of thing that we would have taken for granted, really is important now.
Definitely, yeah. I even noticed, obviously, if you're going out to the grocery store, or if you're going into a public facility, you're the hand sanitizer is always there to be used. Question mark, how long will that be availed to the public? When are they going to stop it? But, you know, I think a lot of people will take the responsibility of having that themselves for when they are out in public, to be able to give it a quick rub to the hands, you know, just to be, I suppose, cautious and to look after ourselves that little bit more.
I suppose the pathway for yourself from Newcastle West via Wexford Youths to the Bundesliga, you know, I don't think there have been many Irish players in the male game, if any, that I can recall off the top of my head, that have played Bundesliga football. It's a road not often travelled, I'd imagine, but is the Bundesliga an attractive destination for female soccer players? Is it you know, it like when you hear of German sport, German football, German Bundesliga, you always think of it like, you know, being run well, having good structures, having good supports for players. You know, how does it compare to what we had what you experienced in Ireland? And, you know, what is it a pathway that's a viable pathway for others to follow your role or your lead?
Well, I definitely think that more players from Ireland could make the jump from amateur to professional level. It's just getting across that little bit of a barrier and doing so, you know, maybe having a little bit of fear of it, being away from home. But I definitely do think that there are some fantastic players in Ireland that have the potential to continue their development as players and to be able to make that step. And players have been doing so in the last few years, and hopefully that they will continue to do so. So ultimately that will be able to aid the national team with the games, you know, in this foreseeable future. But for the change, for me going from one league to another, there's always been a step up, and there's always had to have been a learning curve and the work ethic to be able to, you know, grind, to work hard to be able to get up to that standard of the league. And the Bundesliga was nothing that I've ever experienced before. I can remember playing my first game in the Bundesliga, and I was, as a defender, I kind of thought to myself, I don't know if I'm actually able for this, because we played, to be fair, we played a very good side in our first game and we suffered a 4-0 defeat. And because everything was just so new to me, I was like, oh Jesus, I don't know, will I be able for this at all? But I enjoyed the challenge, you know, and I wouldn't lie down too easy. So, you know, it's just about cranking it up another level of trying to work hard and get yourself into the shape that you need to be, and, you know, and be able to react to every situation around you then. But I do believe that a lot of players from Ireland could definitely make a move. A lot of players go to England, which is great because the league is improving over there rapidly. Even a lot of the men's teams are getting behind the women's teams, which is great to see.
Yeah, and I suppose culturally, England is quite similar to us as well. But you know, a new language, a new culture, a new environment. Have you immersed yourself in it? You know, I've been in Germany numerous times and travel and holidays and all that sort of stuff, and it is a really cool place. And I think people have a misconception of Germany at times, and it's just it is a really savage country.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, I'm living in Duisburg, which is very industrial, but like Dusseldorf is 20 minutes away and Cologne is an hour down the road. And I've been to both of them cities and I've just been blown away. Like, but number one, the amount of people that are there is absolutely crazy coming from Newcastle West. But the Germans are obviously, you know, they have their own ways about things. And I'd say the biggest thing about them that I've had to adjust to is the banter. You know, what they find funny and what I would find funny is completely two different things. So it's taken a minute to kind of adjust that, but we have our laws anyway, so we kind of get on with it.
And I suppose the future, a lot of it will determine and will ride on whether you secure the Bundesliga status in the top flight for next season. Hoping to extend your stay there if that works out.
Yeah, that's it exactly. I have a contract for next season for first Bundesliga, so hopefully that'll all come together and everything will work out for us. but I'm the kind of person that I don't really plan too far into the future, because I kind of like to take things how they come, because anything can change at any given time. So I just kind of adapt to whatever situation is kind of arising next.
How exactly did the scouting process work? I mean, how were you picked up by German scouts playing for Wexford Youths, or how did that work? And I know you're involved with the national side as well, but how did that work? I mean, you would probably expect to see scouts from the UK clubs over in Ireland watching League of Ireland ladies soccer, but Germany, it's was somebody tipped off, or did you start sending out tips?
So it was actually my former head coach with Ireland. He had the link over here because he had coached in the German Bundesliga for many years. So he's a very well-known coach over here and very well respected. And he knew my current coach through football before. So he just kind of gave me the contact and was like, here, this coach is interested in maybe getting you over for a trial. Have a chat with him and see what comes of it. So I did, because I had nothing to lose. And it was actually the first time I flew out of Ireland by myself at the age of 23, I think it was. My first trip over I flew into Cologne. So that was how I kind of got the link over here to Germany. And I've no tapes made up yet, but something to look for in the future.
And you think that I suppose finally, do you think that the German coaches, scouts would be I suppose advised to maybe look at Ireland as an option for up and coming players, that that there's a kind of a undiscovered talent in the Ireland, or do you think the UK scouts would pretty much have that kind of market sewn up?
I think probably the UK would have that covered fairly well, because we're so close. The German structure here for their underage right up to their ladies is top notch almost, because the kids are training so much, so they develop great technique, which I think is a big thing over here, being able to control the football so well, and their game. So I think they're okay with what they have coming through in terms of their young youth players. And then, because there's so many different leagues, there's definitely 5 leagues within the senior level for women over here. It goes down along. So I think that they do have a very big pool of players to be picking from over here.
And what do you think from an Irish point of view with regards to how those underage structures, what could we learn from what they implement in Germany over here?
Well, see, the biggest thing is in Germany, they aren't trying to fight against the GAA or rugby or basketball. Soccer is a dominant sport over here. So it's quite easy then for them to put trainings on 3 times a week, and the kids are out playing on a Saturday and a Sunday games. Whereas in Ireland, kids are trying to race from one training session to another training session in all different types of sports. So I think that's kind of the biggest barrier within Ireland, is that, but then again, you can't take it away from the kids, because, they enjoy it and their friends are playing, and, they're getting to know what they like and what they want to do. But I suppose maybe at a certain age, the training amount needs to increase, maybe by a session or 2. And then that's when the kids will be able to realize that, okay, maybe I need to do more of this training if this is what I want to do. Or if they just want to just play it recreationally, if they just want to be happy and enjoy their games and play with their friends, then obviously be able to continue to have a game at the weekend. But I do think that the younger we can try and get the kids to train a little bit more in one individual sport will be very substantial towards that sport.